Grapeland, Texas, population 1,489, is nestled deep in the East Texas piney woods, situated in the oldest county in the state of Texas, Houston County. It's known for its friendly people, its small town charm, and its peanut festival. Behind me, you'll see this beautiful downtown area that's going to be just an array of floats from the Peanut Festival parade. There's even the trailer back there where the MC is going to stand and he's going to announce all the floats as they come by. You'll see all the townspeople down here. It's an amazing place to visit. This one is definitely worth your drive across Texas. Y'all stay tuned. Bye, y'all. Hey y'all, it's Wendy Johnson with Drive Across Texas, and I am here in Grapeland, Texas, and I have met a beautiful new lady friend of mine, and her name is Tammy Hassel Anderson, and she is with the Grapeland Chamber of Commerce. She is going to tell us a little bit about the Grapeland Peanut Festival.
The Grapeland area was a very heavily, it was steeped in agriculture, and so they grew plums and peaches, tomatoes. It was sort of known for a period as the egg basket of East Texas because they had a lot of poultry here. And so they did this for several decades in the, from the 1920s on and on. And so they grew all these crops, and finally in the 40s they realized that this sandy soil was good for peanuts. I don't know who grew the first crop, but somebody did. And so once they started growing peanuts, the other crops kind of started falling by the wayside, and so peanuts became the main state crop. And so because of that, and because World War II had ended, I think every community was trying to find reasons to celebrate. Yeah. And so in '45 they had their first festival, but it was called a Goober Carnival. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much where it started, the result of growing all the peanuts in the area.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Are there still peanuts grown in the area? Is that a big thing still?
There are not peanuts grown in the area.
Really?
The last of those crops, probably the end of the 1980s. Okay. The last of the peanuts, and we grew Spanish peanuts here, and so that we don't grow them anymore. I think now Grapeland is known for the watermelons. So
I did see some signs when we were coming into town.
Yeah, we do grow watermelons here, but no peanuts. So they started having to ship those in.
Yeah.
Once the farmers, I think some of it they started kind of retiring, and then it sort of ended there. But they were determined to keep the peanut festival going. So
well, here it is, 74 years later, and
yes.
It's still going strong.
Yes.
So I was reading about it a little bit. There was, whenever it started, and it was a harvest celebration, which is amazing at that time, in that decade, whenever people needed that, that's just a great thing to bring the community together.
Yes, and they had the Stamps Quartet, which was a big deal back in those days. They came down from Dallas and they performed, and they had, I don't know the name of the gentleman, but he was through the Ag Extension offices through A&M, came and spoke, and the records will say there were over 400 people, which was a lot for back then to gather and to celebrate something. And the Queens that year, they voted by popular vote. I think the student body voted them for a while. Oh, wow. And then eventually they started having it where it was a penny a vote. So the Queens from back in the day, it was a penny a vote as opposed to what they have to go through now.
That's very interesting. I haven't heard of that before.
Yeah, it was a penny a vote, and I think eventually some controversy started coming around things because some people had more pennies than other people.
Well,
and
right?
So,
yeah. My dad sold more peanuts than your dad,
right.
So
So they changed it, the Coronation part of it, they changed it over in 1967, and they kind of did an overhaul. Our first peanut queen is still alive and well. She's in a nursing home in Palestine, Frankie Streetman, and we went up and I did some videos of her and took some pictures of her a couple of weeks ago. So it's kind of neat that she's still alive and well, and we took the crown that the queen that wins Saturday night. Frankie wore the crown, and so the queen that wins Saturday night will get the crown that the first Peanut Queen from 1945 wore. So
Very
that's
awesome.
yeah.
How amazing is that? Yeah. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more. You are actually the person that is over the coronation, which is kind of a big deal. It's not just a, hey, we're going to walk across the stage and hold some roses and get a crown. It's actually like a process and stuff,
yes,
right?
it is a process, and this is my third year to direct it. I've been familiar with it just from having been raised here, but we sort of evolved somewhat into where it's more for training purposes, more so than just crowning the queen. They go through interview work. They met with our representative Trent Ashby and had a lunch and learn with him and learned about Texas politics. And so we do a bit more than just getting up Saturday night and walking across the stage. They have to write an essay for the judges. They have to do 3 community service hours before they can run. So there's some stipulations that they have to do before they can.
Quite a bit to it. Very nice.
They also have to have a sponsor. They'll get a business in the area, and that will be their sponsor. And the sponsors help them with their floats, and so they'll have floats, which you'll see in the parade.
Yes.
Every contestant has to have a float in the parade.
So is it like only the seniors get to do it?
Yes.
Do y'all have a Queen's Court where there's the younger girls as
no,
well?
No, we don't do that. It's just you have to be a senior. For years, it was simply a high school, a Grapeland High School issue that you could do. You had to be a senior at Grapeland High School. And so eventually the homeschool families wanted to participate, and so they started including that in it. And so you have to be a senior that is either attending Grapeland High School or a senior homeschooler in the Grapeland High School district.
Okay.
So,
yeah. I'm excited. I can't wait to see all the girls and the whole show. It's not just a pageant, y'all. I mean, it's a show. There's music and there's dance numbers and
there's fill-in acts and so we've evolved it to where I think that even if you don't have a granddaughter, a daughter, a sister, whomever participating in it, you'll still enjoy it if you can come out and
so cool.
You don't have to have somebody in it. It doesn't matter. It's fun to watch.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so tell me a little bit more about the festival. I know you guys have a parade, and then there's games, like carnival games or things like that. Is there vendors and what all goes on?
Yes, well, as we speak, the homecoming game is going on. That's kind of a big deal for everybody that's local. And after the game, there's a dance in the park. So there's a dance floor and a bandstand, and so you usually leave the game, go to the park, and the carnival rides are going on now. And so tomorrow is the parade at 10. And then when the parade is over, you go back to the park, and they have food booths. Lots of food. I think there's more food. It's more, everybody goes to eat, and so the lines for the food booths are pretty long.
Yeah.
So, and then there's craft booths, and then there's music all day in the park, and then the carnival's going on.
So, this year is the 74th year, right?
It is.
It started in 1945?
Right. We did not have a festival in 1962. So that's why we're celebrating 74 and not 75, which is a big deal coming up though.
You do all the coronation stuff for the queens, which is a really big deal. But who does the festival, like the actual festival itself?
Right. This year, Brandon Bridges is our festival chair, and he's a local guy that's done well here, and he's the guy running the show. So if I have problems or something good or something bad going on, everybody goes to Brandon, and he handles it like a charm. So
there you go. He puts it all together.
He puts it all together. He does.
We'll have to see what he does for the 75th year.
Yes, that's
Y'all
right.
stay tuned.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for having us out. I'm so
welcome.
excited
Yes.
to see the festival and be a part of it and get to meet the people and
We're
all
very
the
glad
different
that
things.
you're here. Yes.
Yeah, and that Queen's Coronation, I think that's going to be a really cool thing
Yes.
too.
Yes. I hope you enjoy it.
Nice.
Thank
All right.
you.
Well,
Thank you.
okay, so thanks so much for having us out, and I want to tell you guys, Grapeland, Texas, definitely worth a stop on your next drive across Texas. Bye, y'all.